Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon, a retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. And if you like all things true crime related from a police perspective, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you will get all things DutyRon when I go live or when I upload another video. Guys, tonight we are going to talk about EquuSearch and their role in the Summer Wells search. This happened just the past weekend, July 24th, the weekend of July 24th. As you know, we had Dave Rader, the director of the Ohio chapter of EquuSearch. That's the Midwest EquuSearch. And there is a couple of things that was reported on the 27th, which is just a tad bit after the weekend, that Dave asked me if I was kind enough to bring him on. And of course I said yes. But before I get into this, I want to say a special thank you to my Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all of the folks who subscribe and positively interact in the live streams. Listen, we have some of the greatest folks in the true crime community here. I got to say, sometimes we talk about things that you may not agree with, but at the end of it all, we respect everybody's side and what you feel and what you think, as long as it's said with respect and you're not being disrespectful. Your comments, your input, your thoughts on cases are always welcome here. Again, all of the monetization that comes in on this live stream and all previous live streams gets donated and forwarded to Midwest Texas EquuSearch, to the Ohio chapter, and I will link all of their information down below. But before I get started, I want to play an interview that was made on July 27th of 2021. Churchill Rescue Squad Captain Tim Coup went on with a local Tennessee local news, and he made some statements. And the statements that he made were less than what happened. And Dave asked me to kindly have him on, and I'm going to definitely play this for you guys. Just let me know if you could hear it by putting a 1 in the chat while I play it. So I'm going to let this roll. This is going to be just about 5 minutes. So I want you guys all in the chat here to listen to this interview. This is a news reporter interviewing Captain Tim Coup from the Churchill Rescue Squad. He was in charge of the search for Summer Wells. He's no longer in charge. It's now the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. So let me know if you hear this.
There was nothing in necessary general fashion or anything didn't come up within the case for that to happen. It seemed like there was just some confusion going on. From the day we scaled back, yes, if the sheriff's department or somebody needed a search performed, that would be done through our agency due to it being our primary coverage area. But these additional agencies wanting to come back in, with it still being active investigation, with it all being private land over there, with it being there's no public land, it's all private. With those things being done, we felt as an agency that it would be better for any other searchers that want to come in and search agency-wise, not private. This is strictly like EquuSearch that come in and all that. Yeah. Those to go through the sheriff's department. Okay. All right. And that's all that was because it still seems the interpretation was that I was still at instant command status of search operations for the case. Okay. And that's true and untrue at the same time. It's kind of fine lines is where we're not actively over there as we were the first 13 days. That I guess that's the title of instant commander's kind of out. Other than if something were to come up, it would go through me. I would orchestrate that to be performed. So I guess maybe one way of looking at it is you're the incident commander if the sheriff calls you back out there, but those other groups that go out there, you're not affiliated with them and have no authority over them. Yeah, well, in essence, yes, I guess you could say that. When these groups come back in on their own wanting to perform searches or do whatever they're doing on their own, Yeah, we have no authority over them. And that's kind of one of those things is, yeah, they check in with us and ask if they can do it. Ultimately, that needs to go through the sheriff's department. They're the lead on the investigation. Right. That's something to them because once again, it's private land. With that being said, with being private land, not knowing what they've went back over, talked to people they've talked to, it just opens up for too many more issues. If they decide to get out of their vehicle on foot and start trudging around searching again, walk up on people's property, this all needs to go through the sheriff's department from the law enforcement side, where you defer trespassing. You don't have to worry about none of that. It'll head off any type of issues, and they will know who's going back over there involved in the area where they still have an ongoing active investigation.
Did that Equus group, did they contact you and like ask for any kind of permission or authorization to go back up there?
They contacted us. They reached out to me to see if they could come back to do the same thing for us they did the last time, which what they were doing was supposed to be strictly out of their vehicle, not any out searching around on the ground, stuff like that. And I asked for a day. I ran it by the sheriff's department. They said that was fine, that they wouldn't need anybody from the sheriff's department themselves. And with that being said, it was okay. They said they were going to give me all information and stuff for what places they were to be searched, myself and the sheriff's department. And I'm aware of, as of earlier today, neither my agency nor the sheriff's department's received anything.
Okay.
So whatever they've done this past weekend, they've done and orchestrated and have kept all that to themselves. I don't know what they ended up doing.
Right.
So, I mean, I know what they told me they were going to do, but I've not received anything back showing or stating what exactly they've done.
Okay. So I guess...
Past Friday, I knew they were in town on Friday. I got notification that while I was at work. Past that, they said they keep me informed, and they'd let me know when they were gone and turn all that stuff over, and have yet to hear from me.
So I guess the biggest takeaway from the comment you made in your press release is that anybody that's going to get out there and do a search, they need to go through the sheriff's office.
And still yet, speaking with the sheriff yesterday after the budget committee here for the county commission meeting, there's still nobody in the sheriff's department, rescue squad, nobody is asked for requesting private people, individuals to get their search. This is strictly for agencies that were already involved initially in the search. So actual other rescue squads, fire departments, specialized search crews, stuff like that. There were agencies and affiliations with those agencies that were already here. They're wanting to return to assist. They're all go through the sheriff's office to ensure that they're all right with them going back out where they want to where they don't interfere. The biggest thing is not interfering with the investigation.
Right. So this Equus group, were you all right with them coming back?
As far as I'm aware, they're legit.
Again, I'm noticing that this is spliced and diced. He asked him, were you okay with EquuSearch coming? And there was a pause. I'm picking up that this is just an audio interview. And to me, it sounds like it was spliced. It sounds like it was edited.
Group. We didn't have any issues with them the first time.
Right with them coming back?
As far as I'm aware, with the investigation.
Right. So this Equus group, were you all right with them coming back?
As far as I'm aware, they're a legit group. We didn't have any issues with them the first time, and I can't confirm or deny we've had any issues the second time, just because I'm not sure what all they ended up completing or what they ended up doing.
Okay.
Past that, like I said, I can't really. I didn't have any issues with them coming back. I mean, like I said, they contacted me. I said that was fine. After which of course I ran by the sheriff's department first. Sheriff's department said, sure. What do they want to do? I explained it to them. With what they were wanting to do, they didn't need any sheriff's deputies with them. And said that's fine. I told them what day they would be there, what day they'd be back. And that was the last thing that I'd heard was that they were here in town, but I've not heard anything else.
All right, so that was the full 6 minutes. Now coming into the live stream is a great friend. Everybody knows him. He is joining back Dave Rader, the director of EquuSearch Midwest. Dave, thank you so much for being here. And it's always an honor and a pleasure to have you and your organization here.
And the feeling is mutual also, Ron. I mean, again, the rapport that we've had for, it seems like a lifetime, and it's just over, I think, a week. A week and a few days, and good Lord, what a roller coaster ride we have ridden already.
Yeah, I'll say. I'd like you to, for the audience, there's 1,300 folks here listening. Take us through what brought us to this this audio. You and I speak almost every day. Some of my fans put me onto it before you and I even got a chance to speak. You had just come home from a long weekend and travel, and then boom, Tuesday morning or Monday night into Tuesday, this comes down. Just walk the viewers through some of your communication and conversation with Captain Coup.
All right, so we, originally we started with the search with them about 4 or 5 days into it with Coop, and again, the man was doing a phenomenal job with orchestrating so many teams, so many different law enforcement agents from the state on up. So the rapport was very good. We felt very comfortable. I felt that they felt very comfortable with us. So, we, towards the end there, we all had to leave. We stopped the search, but it still kind of aided a few of our people that were down there. It's like, we need to expand this a little bit more. And I know that they were having budget problems as far as with money's concerned. And, again, with us being a nonprofit and with the people that we have, it wasn't going to cost them a dime. So I decided to reach out to Coop again, and to tell him what we were going to do. This was all done through conversation through text. So, every time that I would try to call the man, he would defer me that he was busy, but we communicated through text, which was fine. Then there was kind of a silent period, and then, then we picked back up as far as, hey, we really want to do this. And after the forethought on this, as far as putting everything together in a game plan so I could present it to him in a professional and organized manner, which is always what we do. We have a game plan going into this, we're just not haphazardly doing things. We had a hell of a game plan to go into this with the individuals we took down. So, we finally got the okay from him. He was going to be the liaison between ourselves and law enforcement. So then that way there was going to be no miscommunication, with what he said this, and then, but then I talked to the sheriff over here. So everything went through Coop because he was still the IC. So we thought that was the proper way to do things and continue on with what they had already, the structure that they already put into place. So then I got down there late Thursday night and started kind of thinking about some things and looking around. And then Friday I had a few of my top girls come in and do the recon while I was doing media, and they were out there reconning and going over the things that we wanted to see. We wanted to see it firsthand. I mean, everything looks great on Google Earth, but as we know, when you get out in the real world from Google Earth, it looks totally different. So my girls were on the ground on Friday. I tried calling Coop. He was busy again. I told him, I said, look, we're here. I will keep you up to date as far as what's going on. Again, Saturday we executed everything. Had a hell of a good day as far as ground cover. Everybody was comfortable with what we've done, where we were. No snafus. Nobody's called in to complain about us. Everything was peachy. We had a kind of like a team meeting on Saturday, and then Sunday morning before everybody left, we all still felt that there was still more areas to go through. I stayed until Monday because I just had some defragging to do, some thinking about some things, and I didn't want to go home and think about it. So if I was there and I thought about it, I wanted to go and look at it. So, after that long weekend, I drove home on Monday, and then all of a sudden, and again, it takes a little bit of time for paperwork. So I didn't think that, again, we didn't find anything that was pertinent enough that, and again, if we see anything pertinent, we will absolutely call law enforcement immediately. It's not like we're holding on to anything. Look, our reputation speaks for itself on this. So the next thing I know, I'm getting blown up with, he did an interview and stating that we were withholding information and our paperwork, and that was the furthest thing from the truth. I mean, I didn't understand where this come from. I reached out again through text. I told him that, look, I'll have it to him. I didn't find out until late Tuesday. Where the hell did he even send the paperwork to? I didn't get that until 6:30 on Tuesday. Well, meantime, he's never reached out to me and said, hey, how did it go? Nobody has ever reached out to us and say, hey, welcome aboard. Thank you for coming back. Not one person from law enforcement, which I didn't expect. We didn't need law enforcement there. They're having a whole, again, with the budget, I didn't want to take a patrol officer off of the street to walk around with me because we have checks and balances of, what we do. Right. So I didn't need anybody to, I'm just going to use the word babysit us. And I know that that's probably going to sound wrong, but we didn't need anybody with us. We've been through this hundreds of times. So, next thing I know, we're having to defend ourselves that, in the light that, we're withholding information, and by all means, we were not. We got their paperwork Wednesday, and then yesterday morning, I believe, we literally sat there and gave them all of our tracks. He forwarded it over to not only himself, but over to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. So everybody's on board. I think it was just some sort of miscommunication. But again, I guess I wish that he would have, and I've told him this even through text, and I think that he even admits it, is that we should have communicated a hell of a lot better.
Right. I'm showing a photograph of the very first time you guys went down there, and this was probably June 16th. I want to go full screen with this so everybody could see it. I see and I spy I spy Dave Rader right here. You can't miss this guy. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this and make it bigger. So this is you with all of the sheriffs, the search crews. It looks like a TAC meeting underneath like a tent of some sort.
It was at the command center, which was a church, and it was underneath their outdoor venue when everybody was being addressed. Right.
So that was June, what, like 15th, 16th, the next day?
That should have been on probably that Sunday, whatever that date was that she went missing. It would have been the first Sunday, because that's when we got into town on that Saturday. That's the other thing was we were called at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock on Saturday night, wanting us to be ready to go on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. And hell, I was down there with 3 of my people on Saturday night at 11 o'clock. So I mean, we were immediately as soon as we got the phone call, we were deployed.
Right, right. The confusing part about this is it sounded like it was a breakdown of communication. And when you reached out to me, the conversations that you and I had were that, like, this is impossible that this is happening because they're strapped for finances, right? They're having budgetary meetings to try to juggle their budget. Now, you're a search organization that does this free of charge. Correct me if I'm wrong. So
no, that's 100%.
Yeah. So you're not coming down there and sending them a bill. No. It's just confusing. We have Summer Wells, which is a 5-year-old young little baby that has just vanished. In the mother's words, she went in the house, she came back out, and she was gone. So we have a situation where if you're able to come down with, if it's 10 people or 20 people, I don't see where this pullback should be, especially with what you described to me as text and email communication with Tim Coup. So there has to have been some type of breakdown of communication, but you guys do everything by the book. You dot your I's, you cross your T's. And the funny part is that, when this came out and I started looking around and I start seeing the comments, you've conducted with Texas EquuSearch and yourselves thousands of missions, and you've never had a breakdown of communication like this.
No.
I don't know, I don't know what to explain to the audience. I don't know what to say, but we're losing sight here of what this is about, and this is about bringing home Summer Wells and finding out what happened to her and finding her, and I think that's really what is being missed here in this conversation. This is kind of just taking it to an area where your cards were forced to have to make a statement about this. I saw on your EquuSearch Facebook page, there was a statement on there, and it basically addressed this. I know this is something that you didn't want to have to do. Do you want to talk a little bit about, what brought you to that point? I mean,
again, I want to be totally transparent with everybody that, this organization is top notch. Again, we have nothing to hide. I sat there and did everything the way that I sat there and told them that I was going to do. And we wanted to be proactive by putting something up on our website to state to the people that do believe in us that, look, this is what happened, and it was up to him. And I asked him several times, can you please just, get back to, can you go back and retract this, or can you put out a statement, stating that, the paperwork has been filed and things were just a miscommunication. Again, I don't want to drag nobody through the mud. We don't have time for that.
right.
Again, what you just touched on, Ron, is that we have lost 2 damn days of trying to sit there and defend ourselves for nothing. And he put out a statement stating that we did turn in our paperwork, and it's taken away from this 5-year-old little girl.
Yeah.
What in the hell is wrong with people? Let's get back, because this is why we're here. This is what we do. And when we have to sit there and defend ourselves for no reason, we're taking away valuable time from this little girl, period.
Correct. Yeah, and that's the travesty of justice here. And I'm going to put this on the screen. I'm going to read it. I'm going to take us off and make it full screen. This is just a statement that was put on by the Times News. And it says, update. Churchill Rescue Squad Captain Tim Coup reports to the Times News Thursday, that's today, that all paperwork required as a result of the EquuSearch Midwest organization Beach Creek search this past weekend for Summer Wells has been submitted to this agency, as well as the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. Coop further stated that there were no issues with the searches that were performed or where EquuSearch performed them. I cannot give details due to them being a vital part of our ongoing investigation, Coop said, but I can say that the ground that they covered was covered as they stated it would be, without any issues. There was nothing new found during their search operation over the weekend. So this is contradictory, because if you're going to make a statement like this, why put out an audio interview stating that you guys had no a breakdown of communication? It just doesn't make sense. I'm happy to host you on my channel to put that out there. I want to move onward and forward. I don't want to jeopardize or lose you guys from being able to go back there. And I would hope that the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office would welcome you guys back with open arms, because you guys do God's work. You're out there risking life and limb to find Summer Wells, to find whoever you're on the mission for. So I encourage my viewers to support the Texas EquuSearch Midwest branch. That's the Ohio chapter. Go over to their Facebook page. Here below, link down, is their PayPal. They are a 501c3 organization. Support them by sending in donations, and consider a monthly donation of as small as $1 or $5 a month. It goes to bringing people home to their families. They're responsible for over 400 missing persons returned safe to their homes, 238 sets of remains recovered and brought home to be laid to rest. That is unbelievable. Dave, as per your request, I want to bring in your search coordinator, Twyla. She is from Tennessee. She's a Tennessee gal. Twyla, if you can unmute your mic, I'm going to be adding you to the stream. There she is, Twyla, your right-hand woman who takes care of your searches. Twyla, thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me.
It's an honor to have you here. And Dave, if you can tell the audience before we make her describe what she does, what's the relation between you and Twyla? How does this work with the team?
You know, I can't be in all places, as though, you know, Tim Miller can't be in all places. And Twyla has really, she's been with us a couple years now, and I'll tell you what a godsend she is. She has really stepped up to the plate to take on more and more. She's like a damn little sponge. She'll sit there and literally she takes this and runs with it. And you know, we've had our beefs just like me and Tim have, and you know, we bang heads every once in a while. But at the end of the day, you know, she knows that I respect the hell out of her, and I couldn't do this without her because she covers a lot of territory. She not only covers Tennessee for me, but she has also taken on cases in Alabama, and also she was a very instrumental part over in finding a lady over in Jonesboro, Arkansas last year. So,
wow.
You know, she has done a fantastic job, and she'll continue to do so.
Thank you, Dave. Twyla, I'm going to go full screen with you. I want you to just let the audience know there's almost 2,000 people here watching. Let them know what you do for Midwest EquuSearch, the Ohio chapter.
Okay, so I try my best to do everything I possibly can to help with the missing. When I started with this organization, I literally shadowed Dave for days and days and days at a time to try to learn as much as I possibly can, you know, to do what we do to find these missing people, because that's what it's about. It's not easy, and it's very hard, and it can really pull on your heartstrings big time, especially with it being summers. And, you know, some of us have kids, so we're out there crying our eyes out. We try to treat each case like it's our loved one. And it's not easy, but, you know, we try our best to do what we can do to give families closure and try to bring these missing people home to their loved ones.
Yeah, Twyla, and I want to say thank you to you first and foremost, because Twyla was responsible for sending some of the footage that we got to see, some of the search footage that was so bird's eye for the people who are just watching outside the United States or within the United States. So she was not only down at the search location, but she was going to her phone and sending me little files of searches. And that was really a great education for some of the folks who are, you know, not privy or don't know what goes on in these searches and what type of, you know, adversity that you face when you search. Do you want to talk just a little bit about, and then I'm going to add in my next guest, talk a little bit about what you guys faced this weekend that just passed?
Well, I'll tell you what we started out with on Friday, which was very scary but exciting at the same time. Me and another teammate was out doing recon, as Dave mentioned, and I seen my very first like live real bear out there. And I told my teammate, I was like, oh my gosh, look, there's a bear. It scared us half to death, but at the same time, it was exciting. I mean, there's snakes, it's thick out there. It was so hot. And I'm telling you, one of our teammates, she cut her arm up really, really good out there. It's, but it's something we like to do. We would do it again in a heartbeat. Several of us has got bruises up and down our legs and on our arms. But it's what we do. It's like what, you know, we want to do it. We want to bring them home.
Right. You know, that's the thing, is that people don't understand is that you guys are all volunteers. Nobody's getting paid. You're not getting a paycheck at the end of the day. You traveled from down close to the border of Alabama, good old Alabama, and you came up all the way to Eastern Tennessee, and you know, you're a mom. You have a lot of responsibility, and I mean, it is just unbelievable to see folks like yourself. It makes me really, really come back to humanity, and it enforces how good humans are. We see so much bad because you guys are out there looking for missing. You're looking for people who are missing and presumed dead. And that's the line, and that's the divide that we have. It helps to bridge that gap of evil and good. And that's why I really love what you guys do, you know. And when Dave was on with Tim the other night, there was some tear shed, you know, because they were talking about Tim's daughter, Laura, and he was also talking about how this tugs at our hearts, because when you do make a recovery, it is, I mean, you're not a cyborg, you're not a computer, you're not a machine, you're a human being. You know, again, talk about some of the things that go on with you guys and the way you pull each other through when you have these recoveries.
You know, we start out each of our searches by giving each other a hug. And before we leave at the end of the day, we give each other a hug. And if we're out there and we do, you know, recover someone, our teammates, let me tell you, it's a big group of angels, and we stick together and we do this side by side. And if one of us is struggling, the one beside us, they'll step in, and we have a really good group of people, and we appreciate every single thing that Dave does to teach us so that we're able to go out there and do what we do. And I can't say enough good things about the people on our organization, because they are true angels. And I'm going to get all emotional here because that's what we are.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you know, and it just goes to show you that, you know, we're all human. It's like I said, we get involved and we get emotionally attached to these things, you know. Even as police officers, a lot of people say we're very jaded. It really is not true, because we do come home and we do shed tears. We shed tears on the job. You know, we went through the World Trade Center and the 9/11. That was the most challenging thing that I've ever dealt with in my police career, because we were helpless. We couldn't do anything. The heat,
I can't imagine
the heat from that location, the danger that was there, it was just unbelievable. So I'm going to introduce my next guest. He is a 27-year homicide detective sergeant. He worked in Manhattan North homicide. He is a wonderful guest and a frequent flyer of Crime Time with DutyRon. Sergeant Bill Cannon, thank you so much for being here and being patient. I think I owe you 30 minutes of overtime.
You know something? It's great to be on this show. And when Twyla and Dave start talking about hugging, you know, before and after, I want to get in on that hug. You know, I want to be there. I want to be on that group hug. You know, because
that was my way to bring you in.
It's got to make the whole day worthwhile that you get to hug at the end of the day. You know, it's a great thing. You know.
You know, now that I have Bill here, you know, Twyla, Dave, Bill and I have conversations during the course of the week, just like you and I talk, Dave. And now my new best friend up there, you need a tissue? Maybe you want me to take you off?
No, I'm good.
Now remove her from the screen.
my newest best friend is Twyla. We talk a lot now too.
She's prettier than I am.
I want you guys to talk about what type of reception you received this weekend from the great people of Rogersville and Hawkins County, wherever you guys were. I don't even know what counties you were in. I don't want to know. But talk to Dave first about some of the reception that you received, and I'll go to Twyla after.
Good Lord, like I said before, Ron, it was, you talk about Southern hospitality was at its best. I mean, like I said, if we would get gas or if we went into a restaurant, thank you for everything that you do. Bring that little girl home. It was nothing but a positive feedback. And it was just overwhelming to see people that don't even know you. And again, that's how powerful this is with Summer, is that they want their little baby back. This is the community's little child. I know it's Don and Candace's, but it's almost like the community has adopted this little girl, and they want the best to bring her home. And good Lord, it's almost like a Debbie Downer when you can't fulfill that obligation that you're trying to do, and you feel like you're letting so many people down. But the community aspect of this was just absolutely phenomenal. So, Twyla, she can talk about this. I mean, she was very instrumental with two individuals that took damn good care of us. So, Twyla, you can talk about those two individuals.
Trudy and Chris, he's a retired CI, I believe. But this lady reached out to Dave, and he put me in contact with her. And let me tell you something, that lady, she took care of our needs as food, water, our coffee was taken care of, our breakfast was taken care of. And she said, I want to do anything that I can possibly do so that all y'all have to worry about is what y'all are here for. And we were there for Summer. There was nothing that lady would let us do. She wanted to make sure every single need we needed, she wanted to take care of it so that we could focus on what we were there for.
That is truly a beautiful thing. And that's exactly what I was hoping to hear, because, I never asked you guys this question. I saved it here for the show. We talk every day, and I think we have so much important things to talk about, but this is another important aspect of showing how great the community is over there, where this tragedy, this kid missing is a tragedy. We don't know what happened to her. We don't know where she is. We don't know who the perpetrators are. We have our thoughts and our feelings on that. We've all expressed it and talked about it. But at the end of the day, this is a shining light for that community. Rogersville, Tennessee, Hawkins County, Sullivan County, all the adjoining counties that encompass that area. You folks, I tip my cap to all of you guys from the great state of Tennessee for coming out and being great human beings. Brings me to my next point, Dave, I want to talk to you about. I know that it's important for you guys, and Bill, I know you're going to chomp at the bit on this one. It's important for EquuSearch in all of their missions to make contact with the family. Now, I have spoken to you about this privately because you and I communicated. You called me on Saturday, told me that you saw Candace down at the watering hole. Talk about how important it is to have that communication with a loved one that's missing, whether it's an adult, a child, and how you guys as a team do this.
Again, when we went down, and I know that there was some scuttlebutt as far as on, where we were and things like that. But let me just say one thing as far as when we went down to convene at the water hole, I wanted this entire team to come down to see that water hole of where little Summer went, possibly one of the last places that she was seen at. So I wanted everybody to see what was around it. We weren't there to search that area. There was no need to search that area, to be honest with you. But I wanted them to see it. And then as we were working backwards and thinking in our process, what was on the way out of there? So that's kind of where we were. So when we come rolling up, Candace was actually there doing an interview with another individual. And we stayed back. We didn't want to get in their way. What I thought was kind of strange is that, here we have 15 of us standing there and kind of in a group, not staring at what they're doing, but kind of getting our game plan together. You would think that somebody would have come up, one of the, somebody, mainly Kansas, would have came up to us and thanked us for coming and looking for her daughter. I find it kind of strange that she never made no attempt to reach out to us to do anything. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing, a bad thing, an indifferent thing. I'm not passing judgment on anybody. I just felt that it was kind of strange in all the years that I've been doing this and all the cases that I've done. Every single parent or loved one has come up to us and embraced us and said thank you in some sort of fashion. So I thought it was kind of strange that she never did reach out and come over to us and thank us all. We would have absolutely gave that woman that group hug that Bill is so desiring.
Yeah, I mean, I found it off-putting, and when you called me and you text me, and then you called me and told me that, I was like, I was surprised, and you told me that it was a very small parking lot. What, 8 or 10 cars could park there?
There was, it's maybe a 10. It's like a little semicircle that you could maybe get 10 to 12 cars in. It's not big. I mean, they knew we were there. That's for damn sure.
Right. And I made a video a couple of days ago before I got sick. I got this really bad sinus infection, and I thought I had COVID, but it came out, the COVID test said negative, thank God. But the day before I got sick, as I was starting to feel sick, I think it was Tuesday, I made a video and I mentioned this, and I got really hopped up because it really pissed me off that you don't need to come and bring baked goods. I know that they're not financially stable or whatever the case may be. They're not, have the luxury where they can bring cases of water and spend lots of extra money. But a simple 2-word thank you and a hug, or even a high five. We're in COVID now, right? So people want to do these high fives. That's what is another red flag for me is if you truly are a loving parent, and I don't care what kind of personality you have, if somebody's coming from another state to come and look for your daughter, it just is off-putting and odd that you wouldn't come over and say thank you to them. And it was not any issue about a search or coming up, because all you guys asked is that people don't take pictures, don't put it on social media, and don't say anything to anybody. Don't put it out there. Her coming over to you would not jeopardize, and correct me if I'm wrong, anything that you were doing.
And we, not to, interrupt, but we do want to thank that community and the areas that we were in, because we had no problems whatsoever with people taking pictures or nothing. They had the utmost respect for us everywhere we went in that community.
That's the only one picture that I did allow, and it was at the swimming hole, and that was the Robin who was with Candace. Asked if she could get a group picture of us, and she literally held off from putting that on her Facebook page, I believe, until yesterday. So I mean, I didn't mind it, but it didn't, it didn't hurt us one bit. It didn't tell us, even if we were there, it didn't really make a difference because we weren't searching it anywhere. The other thing that I want to do, Ron,
that picture was taken with all of you guys.
That is correct.
You, Robin, and your team?
Well, Robin took a selfie with the whole team, and I said it was fine to take it. She held off by putting it up on her Facebook page. I think it was yesterday.
So she was at the watering hole with Candace and the person who was interviewing her.
And she thanked us from the bottom of her heart, from the whole community. She gave thanks to us.
Oh, right.
Well, that's a Sunday school teacher for summer, and she was showing us. I mean, she was so damn proud of that necklace that Summer had given her. I mean, she was like a kid on Christmas Day, and she couldn't. She was just showing off her. I mean, it was a touching moment, to be honest with you.
It was very, very emotional.
Could anybody tell me in the chat or send me on Facebook Messenger a link to Robin's page because I want to show that picture. Is that all right with you, Dave? I'd like
I
to
can, Twyla, can you send, do you have
Yes.
that?
Yeah, I do. I
Wait,
do.
somebody might do it. Is her name Robin Lane? I think it is, right?
I can't remember her last name.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Let me see
Hold on.
if I can
Well,
send
while we're
it.
doing that, Ron, I want to thank, you're sitting out, I'm sitting there thanking the community for being the way that they are. But I have to sit there and literally thank you from the bottom of my heart, from this organization standpoint, for you and Bill on everything that you have done for us as far as raising funds. I never came on here to ask for money, beg for money. It's not what this is all about. You have you and your generous group of followers have just been unbelievable. And I want to say thank you to each and every one that is watching and going to reach out later. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and also EquuSearch Midwest on behalf of the whole team. We thank you tremendously. You have no idea how that makes a difference from going from point A to point B.
Absolutely.
DutyRon, I just wanted to make a little comment here. There's an old expression: if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, flies like a duck, it's a duck. And you made that red flag comment about Candace not going up to Dave and thanking him for searching. That means something. That absolutely 100% is a flying red flag and is the duck. It's quacking like that duck, and it means everything. And when people don't acknowledge that, they have never done police work, have never interviewed, they don't know anything about investigation. That is important.
Yeah.
I sent the picture, Ron. You should have it now.
Okay. All right. Let me go look at my email. How can I do that from here?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Bill, I couldn't agree with you more. I got to remove myself from here so you guys can just talk amongst yourselves while I go pull this photograph up. So I got to get out. So, Bill, you can take over if you can.
Sure. Dave, one of the things that I mentioned to DutyRon and I mentioned to you was one of my first questions when I met you was that when you first got to the scene, was it well organized? And one of the things you said to me, you said, yes, it was very well organized. And we were accepted right into the organization and given an assignment. And that is an indication that it's total bullshit that you were not, he didn't bring you in there. You were brought in there and they wanted you there. And to say now.
They made the phone call to us to bring us in.
I got the call that Saturday afternoon and immediately called Dave. He stopped what he was doing and drove to Tennessee and was there before midnight to be there at 8 o'clock the next morning.
Twyla, what I think it is that this is like politics going on behind the scenes. Someone is getting blamed for whatever is maybe it's not going quickly enough. Maybe they didn't do what they were asked to do, but they probably removed that guy, Tim Coup, because of politics, really. And I don't know, I can't comment 100% that he was doing the greatest job on earth because I wasn't there, but it seemed like he was doing a competent job. And for whatever reason, he was removed, and it was now it's taken over by the sheriff's department. And that was probably a political decision.
I agree. Something had to have happened to where he was running this whole show, this whole operation, and then all of a sudden he's no longer. Something had to have happened tremendously.
Right. Something happened where he was removed and now he's demoted to, maybe a searcher instead of the CEO of the search group,
Right. The IC.
Either way, it's an unfortunate situation, and it didn't have to be like that because everything that EquuSearch did, and I'm going to circle back to it, everything that EquuSearch Midwest, the Ohio chapter did was by the book. Here's the picture. I'm going to go full screen so you guys can all see it. Thank you for that super chat. Thank you for that $10 super chat. So this is the picture that we were talking about. Sunday school teacher, she took the selfie. That was right at the water hole. There's the white pickup. It says Texas EquuSearch team, search team, Midwest EquuSearch, and there's the whole crew. So again, it was literally impossible for Candace to not see you guys, and to not go over there, to me, is a travesty of justice. But what a wonderful woman. She emulates goodness. I don't think that like there's people that are like kind of crucifying this woman and saying that the church people are no good. I get a good vibe from her. I think that all of the folks from the church are good people. Again, I'm sure she went over to her and said, hey, all these people are over here, but she was predisposed with whatever she was doing at that time.
If it meant anything to her, Ron, I think that she would have excused herself, and the individual that was filming at the time, I think that should have said to her and said, hey, what, if you want to go over and say something to these guys since they're here searching, I think it would be a wonderful time to take a break and go over and, like you say, just say thank you. We didn't have to hug. We didn't have to, do anything like that. Just some sort of an acknowledgement. But again, to have nothing, I'm with Bill. It just kind of doesn't rub me wrong, but it just it's bizarre.
Yeah, it is. Matt says SDA Sabbath is Saturday, not Sunday. SDA people are great. Appreciate that super chat. I'm not, an expert on religion, but I'm sure that everybody's, down there. Seems like everyone's good people. Again, I want this group here, EquuSearch Midwest chapter, to have this platform at any time to send out a message. And when Dave reached out to me and said, hey, Ron, I got this going on, I know you probably heard about it. My fans and viewers and friends, I want to thank you for reaching out to me to tell me about this story, about the false report that was made about Dave and his crew. They're doing unbelievable work. Twyla is going to work with me to present to you guys in a future live stream. We're going to talk to some of the handlers of dogs, maybe bloodhounds, maybe cadaver dogs. Her and I are going to work together. And we're going to grab somebody who has some good experience that's worked with these guys. And we are going to bring to you some very live, interactive, educational search data on what the limitations are of the dog and what the ground searches do. And Twyla, if you can, because I know you and I spoke about it, tell the people how important and how good the ground searches are.
Let me tell you, they're absolutely amazing. I'll give you an example. We were on a search up in Ohio, and if I had it right here with me, I'd show you. I found the cross. It was into pieces, so I found the cross. This is how in depth we are when we go in there to search. It was about this big, and it was broke into two pieces. And me and another team member from Arkansas actually found this, and it was in two different locations. And how we did it was absolutely amazing, because at that very moment we needed to find it. But our searchers, and we have one, actually we have two of them that runs our sonar, and I'm telling you, they are like angels on this earth. Marcy and Genova. Genova knows her bones like the back of her hand, and so does Marcy. And let me tell you, they keep us straight as well as Dave does too. We've got some really good people out there.
That's an awesome thing, because most people don't get to hear about the group. We saw the group photo, a mixture of men and women, but it looks like the women have the majority in that search team. So kudos to the ladies. That's girl power, right? Girl power, right, in that search team. Right. You guys, again, talk about the temperatures. It was like the heat index was about 100, right? A little bit over 100.
105. It was absolutely, people think that you're a lot cooler inside of those woods. And let me tell you something right now, that is absolutely incorrect, because there was times there was times, and I've been in the heat way at the other end of Alabama, and on this particular search, that morning before, it was probably about 11 o'clock. I'm telling you, I had to literally step away just for a few seconds because I was getting dizzy. It was so hot, so hot.
Wow. And that's a challenge when you're in the middle of doing your searches on foot to stay hydrated and not get, heat exhaustion, right?
Absolutely, yes.
You talked to me about long pants because you want to, prevent, and the boots prevent yourself from getting any kind of snake bites or anything like that. Long shirt, hats, gear on the back. So, there's a lot of challenges. What was that, Dave?
Snake boots.
Oh yeah, the little things that go around your leg. We had those on also, so that made it even hotter because those are very thick. So
Wow.
yeah, it was a journey.
Wow. Bill, you're back. I know you got up.
Yeah, I tell you, when you gotta pee, you gotta pee.
Yeah, I mean, for you could have told me. I would have took you off. I saw you get up. I thought you had an 85 at the house.
No, I didn't have a pizza delivered. No, that wasn't it.
You got up kind of quick. Guys, again, I'll encourage each and every one of you to support EquuSearch Midwest. I have their link to their website and the link to their Facebook page, and you can donate. It's tax deductible. It's a 501c, 501(c) non-for-profit organization. They search for the missing, and we know that these guys have completed thousands of missions, and they don't always go out there and find the prize and find a loved one and bring them home, but they are persistent. I know Dave right now in his head is thinking, how can I get back down into Tennessee and find this girl? Twyla is doing the same thing. Go ahead, Twyla.
I'd like for everybody to remember just one thing, and that is lost is not alone, because there are people out there who care, and there are people out there, I'm sorry, that want to help, families in this situation. And summer is now our baby, the community, the world. Her billboards are along the freeway, Memphis, and everywhere. So always remember, lost is not alone.
Thank you. Lost.
DutyRon, I just want to say one thing, and I love this organization, Equus, but I just hope that when they go back there again, there's coordination not just with the searches, but with the investigators and the searchers, because that has to be coordinated. The search has to be coordinated with the investigators, not just with the searchers.
That is correct, Bill. And to be honest with you, with the lesson that I've just learned, I probably would not go back until that would happen, to where I would literally sit down with an investigator and work hand in hand with them. So there is no more of this miscommunication, this snafu that we just went through, because it was just, this was brutal. The past 2 days, me trying to work and then trying to sit there and juggle this, and I've got my girls that are sitting there on Facebook trying to sit there, and Twyla was one of them, trying to, it was like a damn, it was like a hockey goalie. Every time that somebody would say,
crying.
they would deflect it. And then, but I will say one thing, from all of the feedback that we've got, it was very, very much apparent that it was pro EquuSearch. That is for sure.
No, you guys are fantastic, and anyone that would deny that is crazy. But the point is that the coordination has to be there between the investigators and the searchers, and that's investigation 101, and coordinating it. And because, or else you may be searching places that they're not feeling it. They're not feeling the places, but they're not telling you, and they have to communicate that to you.
Right, and that was one of the, that's one of the tough things about my job, Bill, is that I have to sit there and go off of just what I know through my part of the not part of the investigation, but just by deductive reasoning and common sense. I had to sit there and put this search together without anybody telling me. look, this is the time frame. I do know at times that it helps me out tremendously. And then it's almost like I have to work backwards and try to figure out, okay, what makes the most sense, and where would somebody stick her? So that was one of the things, because I had nothing to go off of, because I did not have any contact with Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, any of the investigators, or Coop to even give me a clue of what the hell was going on. So we basically had to do this off of what my gut feelings was and what my intuition was, just for me doing this for years.
And instead, we're left to look at what the the contributors on YouTube are putting out there, instead of what the police are putting out there, and privately to you, because you're involved in this case, and you would keep it on the DL. That's New York. That's New York language for on the down low. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you know that. So they put it out to you on the DL, and you're going to keep it on the down low.
Guys, I want to refer.
I keep everything close to the vest, so nothing does get misconstrued, or and everybody was sitting there saying, well, the trespassing thing. I mean, what the hell is the difference between? I'll give you a perfect example of the Holly Bobo case. I mean, with Holly Bobo, she was found by an individual that was out in the woods on probably private property without permission, looking for mushrooms or ginseng, I can't remember which, and found her skull. So I mean, as far as like the investigation and us screwing up a crime scene, I'll never forget that when I was in a very first on doing this, I asked the detective. We were sitting in the box, as you call it, Bill and Ron, going over a case, and I said, I asked the detective. I said, Brian, I said, what is it that we're doing that law enforcement doesn't want us to do, or why won't they call us? One was egos. Some municipalities have big egos, and then he said they don't want you to screw up a crime scene. And I will never forget this as long as I live, and I will continue to tell the story, and I won't use the word. But he says, Dave, find me an effing crime scene. I can explain why you're there. If that makes any sense. He says, just find it for me, and I'll take care of the rest.
It makes tremendous sense. And something, having worked for 16 years in the detective bureau and 10 years in homicide, I can tell you there are huge egos involved. And lots of times the case detective doesn't want anyone touching things except himself, That's
unfortunate, because these folks actually need all the help they can get because of the finance reason. Just for financial reasons, guys like Dave and Twyla come down there and they take a financial burden off of the county, or off Hawkins County. Now you don't have to have budget meetings where you're going to juggle and take from other groups and redirect, because you got guys like this and her coming over there with their teams and doing the searches that cost them thousands and thousands of dollars, because they got to pay overtime. We heard them talk about overtime. And now you got a guy like Tim Coup going out there and poo-pooing EquuSearch and saying it has to go through the sheriff. Dave, straight out, will you come back there if they welcome you with open arms?
In a minute.
Absolutely.
I'll just sit there and say in a New York minute.
There you go. I want to revert to the chat. Everybody in the chat is giving hearts and prayers for EquuSearch, and obviously for Summer Wells, recovery and for us to find Summer Wells. Everyone's talking about egos and all this kind of stuff. Listen, we all understand in the chat, these folks up here, EquuSearch team and the like, have to deal with those egos, and unfortunately, that's putting a recovery or a find of the person, of this little child. It puts it at bay, and that's an unfortunate thing. We should not be talking about this. We should not be having this conversation. But at the end of the day, this had to be done. When Dave reached out to me, he's my brother from another mother, and I said I will open my my platform up for you to talk about this, because you know, after doing what he did this whole weekend with his team, it was like a swift kick in the kahunas, you know? So, again, we shouldn't even be having this conversation, but unfortunately we are. But we want to reel it back in and say thank you to everybody in the chat. Guys, if you could put up some prayer emojis and hearts for the EquuSearch team. That's the Midwest chapter, Ohio chapter, Midwest. How did you get Midwest from Ohio? Let's talk about that for a second.
So basically, we kind of live in the Midwest with Ohio. So we, you know, and I figured with as much ground as we're covering, instead of going by state, because a lot of people thought that we would just go and stay in Ohio or Kentucky and Indiana and not travel outside. So we just thought that we needed to sit there and change that to where we know no boundaries. We don't have state lines. If you need us, call us, and if we can make it happen, look. If I've got to say that Bakersfield, California, when we fly out there as part of the Midwest, then so be it. California is now in the Midwest.
There you go. And we are going to, I've reached out to Bakersfield PD. I got a call back from a sergeant, and we're waiting for approval. He has to go up to the big boss, but I already had a conversation with a supervisor from Bakersfield. Orrin and Orson West are two California City missing boys, 3 and 4 years old, now 4 going on 5 years old. In August, there's going to be a 5-year birthday for one of the boys, and we are going to try to get a team together. And myself and Bill Cannon, along with whoever is going to go from the team, are going to take the trek out to Bakersfield, California, and look for our boys, Orrin and Orson West. So thank you for mentioning that. I had it written down on the pad, but sinus infection, medication, I'm all messed up. But let me look quickly to the chat if there's any questions. People are saying they love Tim Miller. Of course, we all love Tim. Lost is not alone, and his story is a tearjerker. I mean, you know, he still hasn't got justice for his daughter, and he's trying so hard. And has been. I read a couple of articles about him going over to the alleged perpetrator of this crime, and it was just unbelievable, his interaction with this guy. I'm not going to go into it here, but I read it today, and I couldn't believe it. So he's been through a lot of adversity trying to get justice for his daughter. And look, Dave has the motto of the organization tattooed on his back. I would tell you to take your shirt off and show the ladies, but you got enough attention right now as it is. People are saying that you're hot in the chat. You know, it's like this is like a sideshow right now. So
actually, I think it's on the Facebook page, if I'm not mistaken.
A picture of your back with the.
Let me send it to you real quick, Ron.
Yeah, you could show it. You want to show it on your phone? And Twyla,
I'll send it to you.
Twyla, who was the young man that came in and gave you a hug? I thought that was sweet.
That was my son. My kids know what I do. My 7-year-old, she's all the time wanting me to go. And when I come back, she asks me questions. And my son, he came in from football practice, and I guess he heard me in here talking, and he came over to give me a hug. They support every single thing that I do. And my son, one of my sons just turned 18, and he was like, "Mom, I want to be on the team. I want to be on the team." And I was like, "Okay, we'll get you signed up."
Wow, that was a beautiful moment that he came over and gave you the hug, because you were having a little bit of a moment there with the emotions. So that what a loving boy. So that's awesome. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Tell him DutyRon and everybody from the New York team over here says kudos to him. Wow.
Yes, sir, I will.
It's beautiful. Dave, if it's all right with you, can I take a couple of questions from the chat for you?
Absolutely.
All right.
Hey, by the way, I still got 67%, Ron.
He's got 67%. That means we can go another 3 hours. Holy crap. Any questions for Dave?
I don't think Bill's gonna make it, but you know, we'll see.
It's already past his bedtime. Bill's already.
Why do people always saying that?
Any questions for Twyla or Dave? Please let them go, and I'll pick them out. Joey Brooklyn is here. Joey, thanks for joining. Erica, thank you for coming. Erica M says, DutyRon, were you involved in the Sophia Long case? She's missing now. I am not involved in it. There's a young boy, 5 years old, that went missing from Idaho. Just reported 2 days ago. He went missing from his house. I don't have the particulars on it, but a couple of folks sent me some stuff. I'm trying to find his name here. I know I saved it in my thing here. If somebody could put it in the chat, I'd love to mention the name. I'm thinking of looking into that case. He went missing and just walked out of his house in a diaper, I believe, or in a pair of shorts. Terrible, terrible situation. What is going on in this country? You know. So here's the questions again. Dave, are you single? We know that to be true. He is single. Navy vet, thank you for your service. Texas EquuSearch found Vanessa Guillen from Fort Hood in Texas. That was a mess because the Army said they already searched the area. Thank God she was brought home. Justice won't come because of politics, unfortunately. But yes, thank you for that super chat. And yes, they did. They were instrumental in that. Dave, are you single? There's a lot of these single things. Oh my God. Is Summers' property on the sides of the hill been searched by your team, Dave? Says Pink Butterfly.
No. Physically, we did not the property itself. We did at the bottom of the hill on the next ridge over. Right. was our primary. If I'm not mistaken, and I think that law enforcement and their search teams did the actual property. Because I'll tell you, from the pictures that I've seen, good Lord, the amount of things that's on that property was incredible. Twyla pointed out a few things, you know, like a shed, and I never even thought about it, but she pointed out the shed that Candace wouldn't let the interviewer in. So there's all kinds of vehicles, and it was just a mess. So it would have taken a long time to sit there and clear that property.
Wow. Thank you for that answer, Dave.
You know, Dave, I always wondered, and I don't know the answer to this, how good of a search law enforcement did of the house.
Well, myself and Twyla has had 2 days of disagreement on this, and I kind of see her point now as far as you know, what she's saying now is because law enforcement really doesn't know how to search, and I don't mean that disrespectful. Their thing is that they should be sticking with the investigation because that's what they do best. And between us going and searching it in comparison to them, because we've had some scenarios where things have been missed, and I think we run over it on I think one of the other shows around. I may be mistaken, but where you know, police sat there and cleared the house when in reality 2 months later the kid was in the house the whole damn time.
Right. What that's why in Missing Person 101, the location where the person is reporting missing from is the first place you search, and you search that very thoroughly, and you spend a lot of time doing that because that's where they could be. You know.
Correct.
We go
off of the point last seen. In you know, the point last seen in Summers' case, it wasn't the house. We don't know if she made it back to the house. So the physical place that she was last seen in was actually Hunter's house. Right. So if you want to be, you know, go from the point of last seen, that's where you should be starting your search, because we don't know if that girl actually made it back to the house in order for her to walk away from.
You know, Dave, there's a lot of things that are unknown here, and even someone else on another podcast admitted that they don't know what the three boys ever actually saw her come back to the house. No one knows that answer except law enforcement.
Right.
Correct. Correct.
Here's another question in the chat, and it was a good one. Question: have you checked wells close by? Did your team do any type of searching in the beginning or at the end here in the last search of any wells, or talk of anybody searching wells?
No. I know that there were There were several ponds that were close by that was of concern. Originally they put, and I think right within the first day, within the first 24 hours, that they did put divers in there. So we did bring our little robotic guy, the sonar unit, down with us. So if there was any bodies of water that they did not do, we at least had that, so where they wouldn't have to put divers in the water again. We could just threw this guy in there, did a 15-minute scan, and came back and then would have told us what was in that without putting any kind of manpower in there. Again, we're saving time and energy and resources.
Yeah, here's another question, and this comes in from the weird mom. Does the presence of feral dogs affect the search dogs?
No. If a good cadaver dog only goes off of strictly human decomp. So everything else, if it's a good dog, it will shut everything else down except the human decomp. Same way with a live track dog is that they will get a scent from the individual missing, and what that dog should do is pick up on the very last trail that individual laid by going out. So, Twyla, do you want to touch on that a little bit?
I agree with every single thing that you're saying. We have used dogs out here in some of our cases that we get, but I agree with every single thing that Dave is saying with that. He's better on that end than I am about the dogs.
Dave, she's just agreeing with the boss. Jen Lowe, who is a great friend of the channel, she says, are there any bigger bodies of water nearby? Thank you for that question, Jen.
There is a river. The biggest body of water is a swimming hole. There is, I believe, a river, and I can't remember the river for the life of me at this point in time. But there is there is a river that's close by in there. And I know what people are thinking. She's probably in water. And again, I don't want to get too graphic, but again, with the heat, her size, usually they would float within 10 days of them being submerged.
Right. I want to just say this. I did a little bit of my own investigation about the bodies of water. I looked at that swimming hole and I looked at where it drains off to. And I don't think I'm wrong, because I did extensive search of this. It goes from eastern Tennessee all the way to the end of Tennessee. And it ends so far away at just such an odd place. And the end of it is just like a little beach area. It's like sand, and it comes into a round circular area. I gotta pull that up on my next live stream and show you guys. It literally goes from that watering hole leads all the way from eastern Tennessee to the west, all the way to the west. And it zigzags, and it is such a convoluted, long river, and it branches off into all these other things, but it never ends until this one point. So I wonder if the searchers would go to the end of that or look somewhere in between, because like you said, there's a certain amount of time where the body floats back up to the surface.
Well, and just the amount, Ron, just to clarify, just the amount of people that have been in and around that lake. I mean, hell, there were all kinds of jet skis, boaters.
I saw it.
Hikers. I mean, there were so many people on that water on that day. I still think that she would have. And then you have to start taking into consideration flow rate. There's a lot of variables that would have to be done probably by the Army Corps of Engineers as far as on a flow and how far a body will travel in such and such a time.
Dave, do you know, or Twyla, do you know anything about the grandma's trailer? I'm assuming that was searched. I mean, I could say from a law enforcement standpoint, they searched from the inside out of the home and then the inside out of that trailer, which is all of about, I don't know, 10 feet or 12 feet long by very narrow. So that would not take long to search through that trailer. But B. Concilio says, did anybody search the grandma trailer? And I would have to say yes.
I would almost say yes.
Yeah. let me just look for any more comments because I want to be fair to the chat. And again, people in the chat, you don't have to send super chats, but any super chat that comes goes straight to EquuSearch, but YouTube takes 30% of it. So I'd rather you just donate straight to EquuSearch, because go straight to their PayPal. And if you donate $5, they get $5. You donate 50, they're getting 50, and so on and so forth. So I'm not saying that you have to send a super chat to get the question answered, because I'm looking at just a regular chat. Does anyone think maybe Don wasn't at work, and that when he called to ask when she was coming home, he walked and took Summer himself? That's anything's possible, Beth Berry Hill Felker. As the investigators are saying, they're looking at everything, and don't think that they didn't look at that as a possibility. As corny and as crazy as some of these things sound to regular people, law enforcement, they go back and forth with all kinds of ideas, and all tips are entertained. Right, Bill?
You know, DutyRon, one of the things that that bothers me about this investigation is that I always talk about investigation direction, right? And investigative direction isn't decided by one person. It's decided by a whole plethora of detectives and bosses sitting around and discussing the case. And to me, what makes most sense in this case is the people around, you know, Candace and Don and all the people around them. That's what makes sense to me. And when people start throwing in horse shit like serial killers and you know, some serial killer just came on the property from another. I mean, it throws unnecessary shit into the mix, and it confuses everybody, because you have to look at this stuff logically and what it could be, and use, you know, reasonable deductive brain things, not coming up with outrageous theories and then throwing it out there, which just confuses the shit out of everybody. And it actually annoys me. It annoys me.
I got to use this more often on you, because
yeah, I guess so. When I get passionate, I start cursing. You know.
Joe,
you've asked my opinion as far as around the house, and as far as if it was an abduction or not. I would love you to hear from Twyla, and because she was at the house. I mean, not at the house, but on the street. I'd like to have. I want her to tell you guys what her thought process is on it.
Twyla, take it away.
I'd love to hear it.
I don't really know that I can give you my thought process, but I think I might just need to pass on that one. I'm so sorry, but I just think I better take a pass.
Wait a minute, Twyla. There's 2,000 people here watching you. You took a ride to the house, and what did you do? You looked up at the driveway. What was your take of the driveway, Twyla?
Oh my goodness. And that's all I know to say is, oh my goodness. It was me and my other teammate while we were out reconning. I was saying, oh my goodness.
No, what I was trying to say, Twyla, is what's your opinion on the percentage as far as it being a stranger abduction?
Oh, absolutely not. That's my opinion, but no. I wouldn't think so.
Twyla, I'm so glad you got off the fence, because you were sitting on that fence. I was going to get pissed. Because I'm not trying to get.
I let her along, but I had to take her by.
I hate fence sitters.
I'm going to get all kinds of hell after this, boys. I can tell you that right now.
I'm going to bed right after this, so I'm not going to hear any of this. Joe Murray, our favorite attorney, sends in a $5 super chat. Joe Murray, when I have him on the show, he bills me $550 an hour.
Hey, we said he makes $650 last night. We gave him a raise.
He gives me the cut rate. I'm grandfathered in. Joe Murray sends in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Joe Murray. He is the best attorney. JoeMurray.com. Everybody go over there and check out JoeMurrayLaw.com. I have it linked onto my website if you need a criminal defense attorney. He says, what could have happened to this sweet angel? I still can't figure this out. Candace is such a bad witness. I need to hear more about Grandma. And I think we all need to hear about Grandma and why she took off and has just disappeared. She just flew the coop. for a lack of better words, Coop, right? Well, she flew the Coop. And we all trying to figure out why. What's the motivation? Is grandma getting out of town because she knows that the hit the fan? Does she know that something that we don't know? This all remains to be seen. So I'm still looking at the chat. I want to see retired Sergeant Melinda. Thank you for your service to the country, and thank you for being such a great supporter and friend to this DutyRon community, the crime time community. She says everyone is allowed to have opinions as long as they are all respectful. Amen to that, sister.
That's right.
DutyRon,
can I just say one thing?
But can I finish my thought for a second?
No, I want to cut you right off. Go ahead.
You son of a I like to get all sides and opinions in my comment section, in my chats, but as long as you're not disparaging towards my guests, towards myself. Listen, when I was a patrol officer, I didn't take any kind of crap from anybody. I'm certainly not going to take any crap on my comment section or in my live stream. As with, I would not go to your channel or to your chat and put some disparaging comments. So if you do that, I simply will just block you and not even look back. So if you want to say, hey, I feel that you're wrong, you do it in a respectful way, I always welcome it. And as a matter of fact, sometimes I answer it and I say, you know what? I respect your thoughts and opinions. Beth Charlene, thank you for becoming a channel member. And Country Thrift, if it looks like a horse, acts like a horse, it's probably a horse. Candace and Don are like Watts and Barry Morphew in their comments. I appreciate that. And again, thank you for your support and I respect your opinion. Bill, go with it. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, we're 44 days into this. I think it's time that law enforcement does a press conference and just gets rid of some of the rumors that are out there and maybe lets the public know, not the, the meat and potatoes of the investigation, but the direction they're going in. Because right now it's just, the public is just all over the place. It causes a lot. People that live in that area wondering, oh, is there a serial kidnapper out there? Do we have to worry about that? Can't law enforcement put people at ease by saying, look, this is the direction we're looking in? And that would be very helpful. They're 44 days into this, and I understand why you would keep things close to the vest as far as evidence and all that other stuff. But just make a little statement out there to relieve a lot of, you know what I mean?
Bill, 100%. I'm with you. The last press conference was June 27th. So we're over a month with nothing. Okay, but we can revert to the Suzanne Morphew case. The Chaffee County sheriffs let a statement come out 1 day or 2 days after Mother's Day. She was reported on Mother's Day 2020. They made one press conference on a grassy knoll out in front of the courthouse in Chaffee County, in Salida. There was not another peep for 360 days. Not one press conference, not one release. They made little blurbs on the Chaffee County sheriffs, 1 month, 2 months. They would do like these typewritten updates, but nothing of substance. People were going nuts. The sheriff is in Barry Morphew's pocket, who is now standing charges for murder first degree and tampering with the human body. The sheriff is corrupt in the pocket. The sheriff is incompetent. But now, 360 days later, the sheriff was quiet because he held everything close. They gathered all their circumstantial evidence. There's no body. They didn't recover her body yet, but they know everything that happened because of all the electronic footprint and all of the hundreds and thousands of pages of discovery that his high-powered attorneys are requesting. But they made the collar, and there was a lot of people who mother the sheriff, who mother the people of that area, and was talking about corruption and all kinds of stuff because they weren't getting information. But they now all have a big piece of humble pie to eat. So at the end of the day, and people don't like when I say that, but I don't care. You have to support your local law enforcement, and they're the ones who have to put the handcuffs on these people. I depicted in one of my last live streams, and I do it once in a blue. I'll take my handcuffs out. People get all crazy about it. I bring the handcuffs out and I show it because that's what law enforcement wants to do, is bring people to justice, and those handcuffs come out and the clicks of the long arm of the law that comes going. Here, Huda sends in a great question. Bill Cannon and DutyRon, does law enforcement get a psychiatrist to evaluate Dunn's, especially on Hunter, since he has ADHD? Will the law enforcement take and do like an evaluation? I mean, Bill, I don't think so, right? I don't think that they
look. I mean, right now, he's not needed as a witness. If that time comes where he's like a very important witness, then yeah, they'll do that, so as not to impeach him as a witness. But now is not the time.
Right. I'm just trying to see if there's any questions for Dave and Twyla, and we see that Twyla doesn't like the spotlight, so I would hope the questions come in for Twyla. We want her to break out of her shell. She is, let me just tell you this, she is the search coordinator. She's got a big title for Dave. She is his search coordinator. And Twyla, tell the people what a search coordinator does for EquuSearch.
We have to kiss the boss's butt. No, I'm just kidding. Pretty much, we have to communicate with law enforcement. We have to have contact with the family, which is very important to us. And we pretty much put our searchers where they need to be in a particular area for whatever case that we're working. We have to do reconning, and every single step that is made, we have to also give that to our director. And we have to make sure that there is a very successful search for all of us.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And Emily of Flolita, and it's Flotilia, she says, DutyRon, read my super chat. So I got to go back and try to find it, and I don't see it. So could you just please type, I see April. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. She says, I think if she fell down the side of one of those hills or was thrown down the side, she could be covered by brush and leaves. Did you use drones? Dave, I'll let you take that over. Were drones used in and around the property about those hills that drop off?
You know, at first, when we were there, the drones did not get used. But what they did use is the state helicopter from TBI. That was very instrumental. And then I believe that they used also a life flight the first night or two with FLIR on it, so to get a heat signature. The ground is, or I should sit there and say that with the canopy, with as thick as the trees are right now, it was you really couldn't see down through that canopy per se. So it was very difficult not only for the helos to be used, but a drone was almost next to impossible. Where the drone was probably used at was to cover fields, because you can get a better angle from the overview and see what was in the field laying there. So I think that that's probably where the drones come in to play. You know, and here's the thing is that, you know, everybody would say that, you know, she was covered by debris. She wouldn't be covered by debris. She would be laying on top of whatever that she fell down. And I'll give you a perfect example of this, and Twyla can attest to this because it was her case in Arkansas. This lady went missing for 2 years, and her bone, you know, after 2 years, was literally like somebody just laid it there that morning. There was no leaves on it. There was no debris over the top of it. The damn thing was just laying there the whole time. Wow. So there's going to be, unless somebody with foul play covered her with something, that would be the only way that she would have had anything over the top of her to conceal.
Wow. That's interesting. Thank you for that. I didn't even know that. Emily sent in her super chat, and thank you for that super chat. I greatly appreciate it. Anybody that I missed with the super chats, not intentional, always appreciated, never necessary. She says, at DutyRon, I know someone with search and rescue dogs in Alabama. Would you like me to connect you to? Dave and Twyla, can you talk about, because somebody else piggybacked onto that question and asked you guys, do you have your own dogs to search, or is that something that you don't have?
We
Twyla?
do not have canines on our team. If, Dave has ones that he reaches out to up in his area, and I have some that I reached out to out in Alabama. And when we go into a search, we throw everything we could possibly think of. And Dave is always saying, if he has to go to Lowe's and get a kitchen sink, he'll throw that in there too. So we do not have any canines or handlers on our team, but we use them as a resource.
Okay,
I'm
great.
interested to hear what team in Alabama that your listener was referring to. Because Sandra, what is the
It's Huntsville Canine. That's who I use out in Alabama.
Huntsville Canine, right? Hello, Linda from Canada. Great to see you. Thank you for joining. Yeah, Emily, just send me an email or text me on dutyron.com. Guys, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing to DutyRon. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you'll get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload and do a video like this. You always get the notification. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all one word, DutyRon. Go over to the EquuSearch Midwest Facebook group and click that like button. Follow Police Off the Cuff as well, Bill Cannon. He's doing great real crime stories on his channel. You're going to get always great guests like Joe Murray and Philly Grimaldi from the Grimaldi Pizza family.
DutyRon, I'm not paying Joe Murray $6.50 an hour either.
Okay, well, if I can
maybe
get
$6.50.
Let me just quickly say thank you to all of the Patreon supporters, channel members, and everyone who positively interacts. The new subscribers are greatly appreciated. The replay viewers, you guys are an invaluable source here to making the message get put out onto YouTube and Google's platform. So I appreciate you guys doing that. If you can take time to share this live stream onto your favorite social media spot, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, we greatly appreciate it. Dave appreciates it. Twyla appreciates it. This is a live stream that's dedicated to EquuSearch, and searching for the missing is an important part of law enforcement. It's a tool that we need. We need to have that partnership with civilian folks that can give us the resources that are greatly needed. So again, just like Dave said, there's a lot of things that they have to offer that their own departments can't do. So it's God's work that you guys are doing. I love and appreciate and respect everything that you guys do. And if there's anything I can do or Bill can do for you guys, we'll be right there for you. A special, really special thank you to everyone who supports and this community. As you know, we pay it forward. $2,000 or so has gone over to Dave and his organization because of you guys, and everything from tonight will go over there as well. We're doing great things, and I can't do it without you guys. So thank you. Anybody can call the tip line. That's a good question. I'm going to answer it because I'm just getting ready to wrap. Thank you, Crime Ghost. Much appreciated. I love your avatar. Wow, that's funky looking. But yeah, anybody can call the tip line. It's 1-800-TBI-FIND. And I have it all linked down below. If you look at my description, there's the TBI number. There's the Civis Bank, so you can donate to the reward fund for Summer Wells. There is EquuSearch. There's their website. There's their Facebook. There's all of my stuff. I'll link Sergeant Cannon's stuff in there too. So I want to thank my guests, Dave, Twyla, and Bill. Thank you so much for being here. Any final words for you, Dave? I'd like to give you the final word.
Again, you guys are absolutely phenomenal as far as on the support and the love that your followers have given us, and you've been fair with myself in this organization, and it's touching. And again, I can't thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, and Bill the same way. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's only been a week or so and some change that our paths have crossed. and you hit it on a couple of days ago, and hell, it could have even been 3 days into this, Ron, that, it just seems like it's been years that we have known each other in the way that you treat myself and Bill and Twyla and anybody that's on your show is just the utmost respect. And I say I will do anything. I will always have your six, period.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Twyla, anything for the troops? I know it's your first time on the show. We're counting on you.
I just want to say thank you to you and Bill and all of your supporters, because you guys are our angels now. And if it wasn't for you guys supporting us, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you so much for having us here, because you guys rock and y'all are our angels.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Bill, anything for the troops?
Yeah, I'm just going to say that, well, I love EquuSearch. I think they're the most amazing organization probably in the whole country. But I just want to say law enforcement will never, ever, ever give up in a case like this until there's closure.
I agree.
Yeah, message agreed. I'm going to go solo for my last final thoughts. Again, folks, I encourage you all to continue to support great organizations just like EquuSearch. Tim Miller down in Texas also needs your help. Don't ever shy away from supporting great groups like this who are out there searching for our missing, not just for children, for all walks of life, all ages, all sizes, religion, races. Nothing stops these people. They go outside the country and they need your help and support because they are funded by generous donors. I want to just say thank you to everyone for positively interacting here. That's what makes this a great place to be, is that you don't have to worry about getting attacked. You don't have to worry about being attacked. We try to do the best we can. Our mods are great. Our people are great. And I appreciate each and every one of you. As I like to end all of these, God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. And God bless each and every one of us here in the chat and all victims of crime across this globe and their families. God bless from everybody here in New York and on the panel. I'll speak to you soon. Good night from New York.